Good evening and welcome to Telling Tales. Here we tell atmospheric stories together through the medium of tabletop role-playing games. It's a Monday night. We're back to Monday night and we're playing Shadows of Esteren, running through this prologue book, the game made by Studio Agate, the French RPG company. We're running through the second story at the moment, Redfall. This might be the last session of Redfall. We'll have to see. It always depends what players do. So below the video, there are links to our social media, our YouTube if you're watching on Twitch, or Twitch if you're watching on YouTube, our Discord, which you should join and come and say hi to us. There's a friendly group of people in there, be they crew of Telling Tales or other people who watch the shows in a part of the community. And also a link to our Patreon. So if you enjoy what we do, you can support us on there for all kinds of different rewards. Other things we do on the channel: on a Wednesday night, we have Simba Room. On a Thursday night, we've got a system-spanning World of Darkness game that Matt is running. And on the first Saturday of each month, normally the first Saturday of each month, we have a different one-shot adventure. The next one is now Sunday, the 6th of March, which is going to be Tales from the Loop, as that's had to be pushed back a bit. So Sunday, the 6th of March, Tales from the Loop, very exciting. Let's do some recaps from last session. If we can have Inga on, who plays Sophia the Varigal. Hi, Inga. Run us through a little bit of the discussions with the grandmother of the sadly deceased young man.
Yeah, so I think we started off back at the mine and having kind of just arrived there and found that there was no Alban and we didn't really have anything while pursuing there. So we pretty much headed straight back to go speak to Zaig. We had a bit of a chat with her. She was feeling more up to speaking with us today or that day. We noticed her other grandson, Angus's brother, Ronan, who was in the shop, kind of spotted the resemblance and kind of asked to speak to Zaig. We didn't get a whole lot of info from her that we didn't already know. She confirmed a few things from before, and kind of told us that the kids did all seem to hang out together in the woods in some sort of hideout that was maybe like an old brigand's hideout, but she didn't know exactly where it was. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the main thing, I guess, that we learned. We did ask to speak to Ronan and have him kind of join us for the morning as well, and kind of learned that, yeah, again, had kind of confirmation that they were a bit interested in some occult stuff, and Zaig's shop is like a shop with antiquities and all sorts of strange bits and pieces. They might have been like the start of Angus's kind of interest, but she wasn't like supplying them with like occult books or anything like that. But yeah, so we got kind of introduced to Ronan properly to speak a bit more with him.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, so Steve, who plays Ragnall the Hunter. Hi, Steve. Do you want to tell us a bit more about those chats with Ronan?
Yes, I can try to. Yes, so Ronan is or was Angus's older brother, and in terms of they differ. They were fairly close when they were younger. They've been growing apart a little bit. Ronan leans much more towards the side of magiance and logic. He's not. He thinks very little of the occult. He thinks it's nonsense. So there's a bit of a split there. Yes, Angus was drawn to this to the occult, possibly by the curios and trinkets in the shop, and then later on, probably more so by Alban's family history with the occult and Alban's interest in it, and potentially Angus went along with all of this essentially to strengthen his friendship with Alban. Alban's father is very against the occult, and apparently this is something new we learnt. We'd spoken to Mayog previously, and Mayog had expressed his dislike of it, but apparently Maog and Alban had violent discussions about Alban's lack of interest in the family business to an extent where I think either Ronan or Angus were concerned for Alban's well-being. Ronan doesn't know where the Brigand's hideout is. He certainly believes it's possible that Alban is involved in whatever's gone on, given that what's the Maella? Yes, given that Maella is still missing and Angus's fate, it is entirely possible that Alban is involved somehow. I think the only other things were, yes, Ronan doesn't know where his brother was going on the day he disappeared, and finally he suggests if we don't find any other information, we should probably try to talk to the mole to learn what he knows. There we go.
Great, thank you. So Justin, who plays Fulgur the Knight. Hi, Justin.
Okay.
So you went to visit the place that the previous adventure had begun. Yeah. Yeah, tell us a little about that.
Yeah, it was good. We turned up and there was a strange, is it Caenid?
Yeah.
Those the beasts of burden, like horse-like things that are some strange creatures of these lands, or would be strange to our eyes. And just chatted with him. He seemed to he's back from a trip, hadn't encountered anyone on the road, hadn't encountered any of the missing people or the mole, or and Thurman just was happy to see us and was chatting about his lack of really understanding of the whole situation, when all of a sudden Theon decided to go off for a little walk, strangely. Not sure what that was about. And we agreed, and after some more conversations, we agreed to have Thurman come join us back in town to see if he could help with either vouching for Theon's character or identifying that someone else might have been responsible for the events that transpired on the night that Theon can't remember.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, when you tell us what happened when you arrived back at the village after this. Also,
what happened back at the village? I was struggling to even remember, but I did. Something dramatic, I imagine. Remind me, John. Like, honestly, I was obviously so shocked. I can't even. My notes are failing me.
That's okay. The arrival of Harold back in the village was heralded.
Oh yeah.
By village members who were
a non-event.
It was a non-event, really, following what had happened previously, which will bring Sam on, who plays Theon, to inform us of
more information about his whatever it was that distracted him during an important meeting with Thurman.
I just need a bit of fresh air, fancied a stroll, that's all. Let's get on with it.
Cool, yeah, cool.
Nothing to tell you, Fulgur, nothing at all. So yeah, I have obviously been stricken with memory loss, having woken up in the rather strange circumstance next to the dead young man boy Angus, who's kind of set all this off. Maella's missing, of course, as well, and Alban seems mixed up in it all somehow. And I had a bit of memory before this point for a few other things, but the Caenid brought a lot more back to Theon, and I basically remembered that I had killed Angus immediately upon seeing that the Caenid. I remembered traveling to Derg on said Caenid. That's why I remembered it. Going to meet Maella. I kind of already knew that Maella was important, but now I remembered going to meet her specifically. And then presumably hiding in some bushes, and then for some reason I was in some bushes. Not really sure why. It's a bit hazy.
Oh no. You weren't in the bushes.
They rushed out the bushes. I see.
Phew.
It's very confusing. My memory is very cool.
It's even more suspicious if you were the one hiding in the bushes. I'd be.
That's true. That would be even worse.
It looks pretty bad already.
While trying to meet with Maella, I was rushed by Hervan. Damn it! I knew I'd say Hervan, Angus, and Alban. I was thinking I'm going to say Hervan, so I better be careful.
Bloody Hervan getting in everywhere.
It's just heavens, all heavens. Yeah, I was rushed by Angus and Alban, which and several dogs, which led to the fight that I got in. I managed to survive, and presumably that's what led me to that situation. But I don't really understand what set off the fight. Whether it was, presumably I wasn't aggressive in the circumstance, but it's all very hazy. So obviously that was quite a shock. So I kind of dashed off. I think the shock of realizing that kind of just set me off into the forest, not really thinking what to do for a moment. I didn't really run very far because that's not really, well, it wasn't really my priority. I suppose I didn't really know what I was aiming to do. Ragnar followed soon after. I revealed the truth to him. We weren't really sure what to do. I think we briefly considered just leaving. Decided that probably wasn't the best idea. Head back and join the rest of the party. Well, I joined Sophia first, who I also revealed the truth to. Not really being clear what happened, to be fair, whether I've done it and what circumstance set off this conflict. I don't know. But I haven't really told Fulgur. I mean, I'm not really sure I want to tell Fulgur. So that's the circumstance right now.
Cool. Yeah. So then, just to recap again, you then arrived back in the village as a group, and a number of villagers were heading to the inn, and you overheard that Harold, the Dovecot Master, was in buying everybody drinks. And this is the end of your second day of your 3 days to clear your name. Although I'm sure Theon isn't particularly thinking about clearing his name now.
Yeah, I think I might need to find another solution / leg it within the next day or so.
There's still time to burn the village to the ground.
Option C.
Keep doing things that will raise that bounty.
So that's where you're at.
Mm-hmm. Presumably we're just outside the tavern now, so I guess we're gonna just head in.
I mean, it sounds like with this given that the mole's in there, and we've been trying to find the mole for 3 episodes now.
Let's do it.
Yeah, plus free drinks.
Theon is glad of the distraction right now too.
So you open the door, and there is an instantly notable jovial atmosphere, as you might expect when somebody is buying everybody's drinks. And you see that everybody's kind of arced around one person, kind of leaning against the bar. You can't see him properly from where you are, but you can see sort of the hat. You just get the feeling that this man is Harold.
A moleskin
leaning against the bar. So you would have to kind of bustle your way through to get to him.
I mean, I start off by collecting my free drink.
You go to the bar, and the person who has been sort of taking care of you as you've stayed here the last couple of nights passes enough drinks over for each of you, because obviously he knows that you're a group.
Theon uncharacteristically.
So Fulgur ends up with 4 free drinks.
Yeah.
Theon uncharacteristically will grab said drink and immediately drink said drink.
Is there like it's quite busy, maybe not. Is there like a little table somewhere that's a bit quieter, like in one of the little corners or anywhere that or if we want to chat to him, are we like stuck in the middle of everybody around us?
No, you can get a table around the edges because everybody is sort of crowded around where he is. So around the edges of the room, there's space to grab a seat.
I'm definitely going to be by the bar, edging into this crowd towards him to overhear what's the topic of conversation that's happening. What's going on?
I might take a seat by the table and just kind of indicate to the others that that's where I'm setting camp.
Mm-hmm. Sure. If you're listening in, do you want to make a perception-y roll? Because there is quite a babble.
Cool.
I will edge over as well, given that I think I'm not sure Fulgur's hearing is.
I'm glad that Sam's muted because it's surely an
Sorry.
insult about my poor perception.
I like the idea that the Ragnar just notes that Fulgur is trying to listen to something and goes, I better.
What? You guys, the Fulgur is actually deaf. I have rolled a 5 and add 2 to that to make 7. So hopefully 7 is enough to hear in this bar, or otherwise not.
I rolled
Steve, what did you
15.
roll? Okay.
15, yeah.
Cool.
I'll let Fulgur go first, see what.
I can't hear a thing, Ragnar. Can you hear anything? I just shout loudly over everything.
The position that Fulgur finds himself in makes it a little difficult to discern and pick out exactly what's being said. There are numerous conversations going on.
That's so generous.
You don't know Harold's voice, so it's difficult for you to kind of zoom in on that and pick it out. You get there eventually, but it takes a couple of minutes of sort of listening and figuring out exactly who it is that you're listening to. Ragnar hones in on this much faster, and Harold is sort of jumping from person to person, and you're quite impressed in a way with the skill with which he obviously kind of knows who each person is and what information he might be able to get from them, and gets it almost without seeming like he's just using them for information. You know that most people in the village are aware that that's what he does anyway, but he does have quite a skill for, jumping into something and getting some information out without seeming like he's just going, tell me this. So none of that information is anything that, any of you would care about. Probably, little bits of things that he might be able to use to gain favor with somebody else or to use against somebody else, but in the grand scheme of things, not really anything of interest to any of you. So, it's kind of either a case of you try and push in and speak to him, or you kind of wait until maybe, the free drinks have died off and everybody's moved away, kind of thing.
It doesn't seem like he's celebrating anything then. It just seems like this is his kind of way of pumping the
this may be his MO. It may be that every month or so he comes in and he does this and gets loads of information from everybody. It is a jovial atmosphere, but there's nothing to say that a thing has happened and that's what's led to this evening.
I think what I would try, unless anyone's going ahead of me, I think what I would try and do is highlight a lack of knowledge that he has on a certain topic by asking him what he knows about the unfortunate events of the town over the last few days. Kind of pose. I've got. Surely you're going to be someone who might have heard something. Do you have anything that could shed light on the disastrous event? The memory loss of my good compatriot.
Okay, are you going to push your way to the front of the queue, or are you going to kind of shout this from the middle of the crowd? Okay,
I think.
Leon is downing his second free drink.
But I think I could make a relation roll to.
Make a relation roll, please. Yeah,
to try and do this in an artful way. We can bandy words,
Staring angrily at Fulgur while downing.
I've rolled a 15. So that's 7 and adding 8 from relation.
Nice. Okay, he says, he kind of almost shushes the person who was currently talking to him and says, well, who said that? I don't know that voice.
Sorry, Fulgur. I'm from out of town.
Ah, I see. So you arrive here and bad things happen and you choose to question me on them in front of the fine people of this village.
We're all just trying to find answers to these difficult questions. My friend is in some dire trouble. If you know nothing about it, I'll go back to my table over there, and I start making my way to the table.
No, I did not say that I know nothing about it.
It's quite all right. If we have little time enough, we're very busy.
No, I would not want these people to think that my information is lacking. Perhaps we'll talk momentarily once I have done regaling these fine folks with tales of my travels.
Yeah, I didn't mean to insinuate that. I know your information is not lacking. It's just a very, very mysterious and hard to know about. Difficult. We found out a lot already. We know a lot, but not everyone knows that stuff as well. So I'm just going to just walk up to the table.
If you're paying attention, that when he says about regaling them with stories of his travels, that a lot of people kind of raise their glass almost as if they think that he's been doing that already, even though he's been asking them the questions.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I've got to complete my thing and go back to the table. But Ragnar, I imagine you're still there listening to whatever he's saying.
Oh no, I've been shrinking away. I've been like,
okay, great, fantastic. No support, no nothing. Well, that's good. That's great. I'm going to go over to the table anyway.
Yeah, as soon as you started drawing attention to it, it's like, oh, no.
What have you got to lose in this village?
I'm sitting.
Life?
I'm sitting at the table shooting daggers at you with my eyes.
I sit down next to him. Put out some bait. See what you bring in. I sit drinking my beer. You hunt in the woods, don't you, Fionn? I'm sure you've.
So things went well at the bar then?
Oh, he'll be over. Fionn's too tasty a morsel of information to not interrogate.
What's all this about? Why is Harold here and buying everybody drinks? Is there some sort of event?
Sometimes I wish I was a bit more murderous,
Well, be thankful that you're not, because otherwise it'd be very difficult to prove your innocence. Now, I think he was trying to. They say he gathers information from the townspeople. It feels like that's what he's doing here. What do you think, Ragnar?
Yes, he's working the crowd. Yes, he's clearly good at what he does. We do need to watch what we say. I think I'd be wary.
Someone told us that we won't find the mole will find us. All of this is all of this hoo-ha to do with trying to get information from us?
Could be.
Did he seem surprised to see Fulgur? Was he acting when he's like, "Oh, I don't know about you," or?
Make me a perception roll, Steve. You've got a seeing bonus, I think, haven't you, or something like that?
I rolled a 10, so that's 16.
It was quite well hidden, but yes, you think he wasn't particularly surprised. It was a little bit showman-y, sort of, when the whole who is that? I don't know that voice. Who is? Yeah,
he knows, Fulgur. He knows.
Ah, well. Everyone in this bar knows who we are and what we've been doing the last few days. You would have heard from them. We might as well see if we can talk to him ourselves about the whole thing and gain from him finding out as much as he gains himself.
It's true, I guess. But what's our plan? How do we talk to him? Do we?
I don't know.
He's not going to want to talk unless we offer him information, is he?
We have plenty of information to give. We don't know what we know. He has a chance to talk to you himself. That's a story to bring back.
What do we want to offer him then?
You talk to him. Tell him your story. He'll be very happy to know. Let it out slowly, piece by piece. How many drinks can we get out of this? I think quite a few. It could take all night to tell a story like yours, Theon. And in the meantime, we can see what we can get back from him.
He must
Maybe,
have some gain that he. Why does he gather this information? There must be some gain to him.
Well, he has a link.
But we've found all sorts of interesting information about, potentially Mayorg. There's a very powerful person whose son is wrapped up in all of this, who's potentially been involved in the disappearance of one of his friends and the death of another. He's been involved in some sort of fights with his son, and Mayorg certainly wasn't very forthcoming about all of these connections when all of this was first revealed. There may be something in that Harold would want to know. I think there's plenty of interest.
I'm just going to drink until he arrives now.
But you realise this man's entire business is in trading information. Telling him things could be very dangerous too.
I don't see how it could be dangerous. The more we know, the better. We're trying to clear your name here.
Bear in mind as well that he may be known for trading information. He doesn't seem to be known for trading in rumors or false information. I get the impression that people believe what he has to say.
You may seem to be
our goal here is proving your innocence, Theon. If we can convince him of your innocence with the information that if we can bring him on side as part of this investigation, I'm sure he'll see the benefits of understanding what the implications of all this are. And he would be another good voice to add to your defense.
And we don't know what his motives are. He could have good motives for hoarding all this information. He's a member of he's associated with the Knights after all. We know they're good folk.
I hope you're both right, but he could just be he's a good salesman. That's all.
I don't know that matters. All we need to do is prove your innocence, Theon. We're not tied to this village. I don't think you're intending to stay here. We're not settling down roots.
Good salesman.
Businesses beyond that.
Good salesmen can sell whatever they like. Doesn't need to be true or false.
It doesn't matter as long as the village believes him.
If the village believes a falsehood, then it matters very much to me.
Well, we'll just have to get to the bottom of it, won't we? There's no point worrying about it before we even talk to the man.
Perhaps we should worry about your defense and our short timeline, and if you have further questions beyond that, Theon, that's up to you. But we've staked our reputations on you as well, don't forget, and we have until tomorrow to prove your innocence.
And your reputation be damned. We need to find Myella, and, she could be in trouble, and if he could help doing that, then that could be very useful.
If the Hildren Knights are the only ones who should know about that hideout, I think that's probably a good bit of information that we should be able to find out from Harold. And that might lead us to Myella and any other clues that explain what on earth has been going on here.
More than anything, we need that location, you're right.
I was wondering whether something that Ronan said about this feud between Mayorg and Alban. I wonder whether Alban has decided to to do something drastic to end the family business, rather than. Interesting.
I was just sorry. I'm trying to disrupt you, but have we seen the mole at any point since we arrived here, or have we only ever heard about them?
We've only heard.
No, this is the first time, and even you'd maybe thought previously that you might have passed him in the street. Now that you've seen him, you don't recognize him at all from before.
We still don't know what happened with that fellow the letter from Border Rock as well.
No,
any information about that could be useful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it seems like there are certainly all sorts of mysteries at play behind all of this. I don't know how they all connect, but the main thing that I want to know about is how we prove Theon's innocence. That's the main. That's our goal. Everything else, if we can unravel all the mysteries to help understand what's gone on, great. But those things are secondary.
And the key to that, in my opinion, is finding Alban. And it seems like the key to that is finding this mysterious abandoned encampment in the forest.
Many keys, many keys.
We still have
he
the
has them
problem.
then.
Yeah, we still have the problem of finding a way of ensuring that our word means something if it's our word against Albans.
That's my concern.
Again, Harold may be able to help.
That letter, perhaps if we... I doubt that we'll be able to find it easily, but if that letter is contains critical information or some sort of plot, or
maybe we should ask this this mole character whether he's been to Balderop before. Maybe he's met somebody there who could have been the person who sent the letter.
or maybe he knows who talks to. Sorry, go on.
I'm a variable. I travel. Just drop in that I've been to Balderop. See if he reacts. We don't need to pry too obviously.
Me? Certainly getting
Obvious?
certainly getting more information on Alban's history and connections and activities would be good if this mole knows of those.
Yeah, keep drinking until maybe just stop people watching a bit, see if the crowd thins, if Harold looks like he's watching us at all, if he's making any moves to sort of head in our direction.
Yeah, so after about 25, 30 minutes, once everybody has had a couple of free drinks and told Harold about how many eggs the chickens have laid or whatever information that to any of you would seem completely worthless, but he seems to be lapping up. Yeah, go on, Justin.
Is Furman with us?
Furman came back with you. He came in, saw it was busy, and then has gone to see Zaig.
Cool.
Yeah. So he's not. He's in the village, but he's not with you currently. Yeah. So after all of that, Harold, a seemingly natural point as a conversation ends and another one doesn't instantly spark up, comes over to your table and says, well, I've been looking forward to getting back here and speaking to you.
We've been looking all over for you.
How are your investigations going? He says and looks at Theon.
Fruitful.
I think I look back at him, but I don't volunteer anything immediately.
Can we buy you a drink and return the favor?
Oh, no, no, not necessary. So, what have you got planned?
I mean, it's nearly bedtime. I think maybe we'll retire soon. You know, we've had a busy day today, found out lots of interesting things. Very tiring. But I can always be persuaded to
perhaps
stay and
be
drink.
using your time more wisely with what little time you have left, he says, and looks at Theon again.
I'm sorry, but Pat, when you say plans, I mean, we're investigating. We're looking for information, really, brother. We're not making plans to. I don't know what to do. What our plan is to find the information we can.
Plans of inquiry, of course.
Oh, I see.
Well, we were interested in talking to you. You seem to be somebody who apparently knows a few things around about the goings on around town.
Very sensible of you.
And we were interested in. We were probably going to go see the Knights if we couldn't get information from yourself, but we were interested in trying to find a place we think that maybe potentially the attackers could have sought refuge in, a bandit camp nearby. That was our next line of inquiry. I'm sure we can go get that information from the Knights.
Interesting. Just as an aside, have you spoken to Mayog at all, or heard anything about Mayog?
Yes.
During the course of your inquiries?
Yes.
Well, I mean, of course, his son was friends with the poor boy, so you know, we've paid our respects and wanted to make sure that everybody was all right. Of course.
Of course, yes.
All kinds of interesting things, you know. We
Oh yes, such as
pop around the home. Talked, you know, we've been around various of the business interests, the mine, the warehouse. Just getting a feel for the boy, father, the relationship, things like that.
The family history.
Fruitful, yeah. Family history, old stories, family friends, that kind of thing.
I know all about the family history. I'm more interested in the family present.
Yeah, very compelling stories.
Perhaps we could trade stories over a drink.
Well, it's a rather distasteful way of talking about it, but sure, if you were joining us for a drink, I don't see why we can't keep ourselves informed about the goings on of the town. And
we can pass them off as fiction. It doesn't need to be crass. We can spin a yarn.
Indeed.
I about a map to an abandoned bandit camp, and you about a powerful family in turmoil. I'll be back in a moment.
Fair.
And he goes over to the bar.
It's going okay.
I thought Mayorg might be of interest to him.
And he returns with 5 drinks and passes one out to everybody around the table.
All right. Okay. I'm going to drink this one much slower.
Yeah, make it last.
I believe you're going to tell us a tale about a treasure map of sorts.
Yes, eventually, but I've provided the drink, so perhaps
That's
it
true.
would be polite for you to provide the first tale. Oh, he's quite he's not dressed as a knight. He's dressed in quite fancy clothing, with a feather in his hat, and you can understand why. I can't remember who it was that said to you. Maybe Ronan said that you'd know him when you saw him. He very much stands out from everybody that you have seen in the last few days.
I think like Sophia will kind of go a bit sort of lower voiced and, you know, being a bit conspiratorial. Well, we certainly thought it was interesting that Mayorg didn't come forward himself to offer information to our investigations, given his family's connection with everything that's going on. Alban being such good friends, of course, with Angus.
Yes, I mean, you know, their friendship seems to be very strong. Always, you know, going off together. That triplet, and
Yes, Myla as well.
disappearing off all kinds of times. You know,
Mayella, who's still missing, by the way.
Yes, most concerning. Most concerning.
you know, the other day we were going to try and find Alban, and popped in at the old warehouse. Had a talk with a very respectable warehouse head, and found out he'd been taking some of the family dogs out for a trip to the mine, early morning trip to the mine.
Yeah,
Of course, we hope that
one of
Alban would
them,
want to support the investigations as well. You know, help understand what happened to his friend. But we've not been able to get hold of him either. He seems to be disappearing off early in the mornings. But of course, none of this is information you wouldn't know yourself. And this is all
No,
village,
I believe one of the dogs came home with an injury as well, from what I understand.
Oh, scratch! We heard it was from a knife wound.
Can't
Anyway,
imagine
when
who was
we-
responsible for that.
It was a very strange story, because the father, when we talked to him, said that Alban hadn't been turning up at the mine any time recently. And so when we went to go investigate at said mine, wasn't there to be found.
Yes,
But-
very tumultuous. Very
Family.
tumultuous.
Father's disappointed in his son not spending enough time at the mine. Son disappearing off with the family dogs. But, you know, these are the stories of youth, aren't they?
I mean, they're not stories we want to bore you with. Obviously, Harold, we know that you're an informed man and you know everything that's going on in the village. I mean, what can we tell you that you may not know? Perhaps if you could still, I mean, I don't want to bore you with stories of things that you already know.
No, quite right. I'm looking for verification on a rumor of let's call it a rather authoritarian running of the household.
I mean, you can see that Mayog is a man who runs his mine with some order and with purpose. It shouldn't be a surprise that his household is run the same way.
Children don't rebel unless there's something to rebel against, do they?
Quite.
As I say, we've not found Alban himself. We've not. I don't think it's something we can directly corroborate. All we can do is say we've heard similar things, and it seems to stack with what we've seen.
Yeah, have we heard any? And what was our information directly? Who do we hear? I think we heard from someone that there was some kind of fracas.
We heard
or something.
we heard from Ronan.
Ronan, yeah.
Mayog had an altercation with his son that was potentially violent. So yes, there's definitely.
Well, in that case, what we could say is, you know, we've heard rumors, but you'd have to substantiate them yourself, and you know, I wouldn't want to just go spreading around who's been spreading rumors. That's getting into.
No, of course.
But I mean, if you wanted to investigate them, I mean, I suppose we could try to remember who it was that told us exactly what. We've talked to so many people in this investigation; it's getting really confusing.
It's like really two masters at work.
Of course, if we could find Alban, that would be the best way
to substantiate everything. And but I don't know. Was it the guardman who we were talking to about this vermin? I can't. Maybe it was the Hilderan Knights that we were talking to at the on the road.
There's no need to rack your brain. You can see that he's mildly annoyed in a sort of almost an admiring way, because you're sort of behaving in a similar way to he does, but he's finding it annoying that he can't just get this information out of you. And
it's all the drink. It's gone to my head. I can't remember anything.
I suppose you're quite right that if Alban were recovered, that would be the best way to verify. Well, you'll be needing this. And he takes out a scrap of paper and passes it over, folded.
Well, I thought I'd have a little peek with peek at it with Ragnar, Theon, and Sophia.
It's a very detailed, very easy to follow map.
Interesting.
Which he definitely hasn't had the time to draw since you came in.
Okay, cool. It just has that on him for reasons. Yeah, great.
Reasons of knew exactly what was going to be happening now.
Thank you, Harold. I mean, obviously, we'll follow all our routes of investigation, and obviously, in order to be able to share information back with you again, I mean, we'd need to be able to find you. You've been quite hard to find over the last couple of days. If we investigate this, what's the best way of getting back in touch with you? We want to share information, of course.
I'll be in the village for 2 more nights, so as long as you don't become too waylaid, there should be no issue.
Have you been travelling through Boulder Rock recently?
No, that's much further than I travel.
Well, while we're remembering who talked to us about that, we do know that the young master received a letter from there a short while ago. Does that ring any bells for you?
Yes, delivered by Jalfred. Unfortunately, my eyes and ears do not allow me the contents of a sealed letter.
Did we know, as a group, did we know anything about what was in that letter? I forget.
No, we knew that it was transferred. We knew that it was given to Alban, but we
Well,
we don't know what's in it.
Perhaps if we recover it, we can let you know then.
Harold, you obviously have this map. I don't think there's any point being secretive about. I think we both know what we're looking at on this. Have you been there? Do you know what we might expect to find?
I have not been there. No. Some of the knights went there and cleared it out. I believe it's just a small, an underground hideout with an entrance that you'll see the specific location marked on there.
Yes.
Quite a small hideout.
But you knew we need this map. Very clever of you to know where we'd be going next before even we did.
I mean, it's just a good chance, isn't it?
Predictions are easier the more information you have.
Well then.
Here's a question for you. You don't happen to know why Fionn here was going off to meet Mayella, do you?
I'm afraid not. Again, secrets whispered by lovers or enemies can often slip by unnoticed until the end result is seen.
What do you think this end result's going to be? How do you think Fionn fares in the balance?
I imagine your question will be answered once you get to that hideout.
What would you want? What would you like to see the result be? What's in your best interest?
A good story.
Tales of volatile father-son relationships and potential love triangles and lovers and enemies and mysterious hideouts and from bandits in the woods. It is all very romantic, isn't it?
Yes, and unscrupulous people may look for ways in which they can benefit from these situations of powerful families falling into ruin. Again, all fiction, of course.
Of course. Actually, speaking of Mayorga, this is probably completely unrelated to poor Fion's dilemma, but I was rather curious, actually, about the history. I know you said you were more interested in the present, but Mayorg seems to have built his reputation and his wealth and power on his mining business, but that wasn't the real family interest. Was that the family business for a long time? Did he inherit that, or was that completely new and a divergence from the occult interests of his forefathers, his father and grandfather?
You make it back here with tales of what happens in the woods, and perhaps we can share another story, Sophia.
Well, in the meantime, I think I do remember, actually. I think it was the young boy Ronan. Yeah, I just think he had something to say that may be of interest.
The poor remaining
Just
brother.
rumours. But he's got a mind of his own. That one, high-minded, likely to go far in the world away from here. Perhaps some stories would be of interest to him. Tell some more stories.
Speaking frankly, Harold, I think Alban is involved with all of this, and I think Mayorg has been he's not been very forthcoming about the relationships and all the involvement in all of this, and I don't think that speaks terribly well to his position on the council. I don't want to speak out of turn, but potentially our interests are aligned here, and I hope that we can be quite frank about our exchange of information. We're being very careful here to speak carefully, and I would like to trust one another. I think that's the best way forward.
Oh, I have no reason not to trust any of the four of you.
Well, excellent.
Summertime.
Are the woods particularly dangerous at night? Would it be prudent to wait until morning, kind of returning to the others, or
I don't think
should we?
Not for four strapping adventurers.
They're not. They're certainly not known to be dangerous. Although the lake was not thought to be dangerous.
That's true.
I'd rather not wait.
And sorry, Harold. One other thing is, people have said that you really are the eyes of the village. Obviously, we know Alban. Well, Mayorg told us that Alban was in the family home last night, but left early in the morning. If we're looking for Alban, if we go to the hideout but he's in the home, are we just chasing after our tails and going around in circles and not really finding the information that we need? Would you let us know if you heard that he was back in the village, or if you knew for certain he hadn't returned?
He certainly wasn't here when I got back to the village. I think while there is perhaps not quite as much of an alarm raised as there was for Mayella, I think it's known that he is not here at present.
You think he might be missing in the way that Mayella is?
Perhaps. Too early to say, but possible.
Well.
I wonder if Mayorg is worried or relieved.
If you find out, let me know.
Will do.
You know what I think we could, if we set off now, we could make this in. Oh God, what do you think?
What time is it at the moment, and how far away is this?
It's not long dark, and it's about an hour walk.
Cool.
Theon has been sitting gritted teeth this whole time, so he's fairly eager to get up.
Yeah. Before you, I know we've been all kinds of things we've been asking about, but I'm more surprised that you don't want to know. You haven't asked Theon what happened.
I think he knows exactly what happened. Certainly, as much as I know, probably.
That may be closer to the truth.
No of interest to you interviewing potentially the last interview Theon may ever give. If he doesn't,
he knows about my memory.
There is still a day for me to have that conversation with Theon. At least, perhaps many more years to come.
Well, I mean, you're sending him off into the woods with a map, potentially a way out. But, well, I'm sure he'll return. And
If
all the evidence he needs to clear his
he knows
name.
just as well as you do. He knows just as well as you do. If I was going to leave, I would have done so. Right?
You might still surprise me yet. Anyway, let's be off.
Oh, we found a Kenid on the way. It may be useful as a pack animal. I suppose you know if anybody's had one missing, wouldn't want to inadvertently steal it.
Whose this is?
There was one missing from the stables in town. I imagine that was the one in question.
In town here?
Just here, yes, belonging to well, it's a stopping post. Sometimes they are loaned out locally for people who have a task, or sometimes one is left and one taken on a long journey.
I see. Very useful to know.
Would we find you back here then? Are you staying here?
Yes, I'll be here.
Well, perhaps we'll get lucky and be able to buy you a drink this evening. A late one, perhaps, but maybe a nightcap.
I find it unnecessary to sleep very much. Much more productive to be awake.
Not creepy.
Or I'll just stand up.
Yeah.
How do you recover your wounds if you don't sleep?
The mole has no
Fionn Yes, Fionn is definitely off now.
Right. Back into the night then, I guess.
I would like to go first to the stopping post and ask who borrowed this Kenid. Seems like a sensible question.
We're just here, yeah. On the way out,
yeah.
once we're outside, Fionn, I just say, well, at least there's one person in this village who'll know the truth of it, whatever that truth is, and whatever he might speak of it, I don't know.
I think he knows less than he lets on.
I suppose we don't really know exactly how much we need to present, whether even just a convincing theory, even if we can't definitively prove it, just suggest that there's something else going on. It may be enough, and Harold may be willing to back us up on that if it destabilizes Maywolf enough in whatever way.
I can't say.
Something we should consider if we don't get enough answers.
We can hope. I'm not so sure.
Me neither.
He's not the sort of man who wants to stick his neck out for someone he doesn't know, not unless it benefits him. Maybe you're right, it'll benefit him, but we'll have to see.
You might still be of some value to him yet. We don't know.
Surely, I was hoping on the evidence front that the fact that I've stuck around all this time, despite everything, is fairly good evidence as to my innocence, but I'm not sure that's enough, sadly.
It wouldn't
Well, you've
convince
stayed
me.
around more than Alban has, that's for sure.
One person
That's
runs
true.
away, and one person stays in the village trying to help, and let's hang that one. Not feeling especially welcomed.
Anyway, let's get to this post.
Yep. So there is a woman mucking out these stables as you get there, and she looks up and looks up and then kind of spots Fionn and says, "I hope you're going to bring my beast back before, tomorrow night."
I'll look slightly shocked and then be like, what happened? Could you tell me when exactly and how I took the beast? What was going on?
Yeah, 2 days ago, you came and you said you'd have it back in the morning, and you didn't.
I'm sorry, the beast is in the village now. We can get it for you momentarily. Do you I was with no one else?
Nope.
Did I paid for the beast, I presume?
You did, yes, for one night.
I am sorry again. I'll go get it in a moment. Did I seem unusual at all? In a trance of sorts, or?
No, I would say perhaps excited about the prospect of the evening ahead.
Hmm.
You seemed keen to be on your way.
I don't think I've ever seen you excited to be on.
I give you a look. I give you a look of agreement.
Doubly concerning.
And I didn't say anything else or before leaving.
No, nothing. Nothing that made me think twice.
Well, thank you anyway. Where was the curtain, Johnny? By the way, where did we leave it?
You probably tied it up outside the inn, I imagine, when you got here.
So that's not far away, so we can just go.
There's
No.
There's no way we're going to return this.
I'll turn around.
If you're going to be hanged anyway, might as well take the kit.
I'll turn around and head back to the inn where it was.
It's a fine beast.
Even if Fulgur is protesting. Presumably a minute later, hand her back the Kernid. Apologies again, it's been a difficult few days.
I'm quite sure. Thank you for returning it, and I'll waive the late return fee.
Does this get like a library book where it just piles up enough that eventually you don't want to return your Kernid?
Yeah.
The Kernid wasn't injured, was it?
No.
Well, let's make a shift.
Yes, better get a move on, I think.
So it's a relatively clear night, and not quite a full moon, but pretty bright. There's the occasional sort of sweeping over of a cloud, and then you've got quite a bright moonlight again. You will need torches for or lanterns for passing through the wood. And there's the occasional scramble of a creature up a tree or bird noise. But apart from that, you're relatively alone for the time that you pass through there.
As we're walking, I think I'll just say, once we're a little way away, well, it doesn't really help us very much at the stables, did it? Certainly strange what she said, but doesn't sound like any sort of, I don't know, chemical. Or
there must have been something. You must have been told something to get you excited about heading out. Must have. There's some excitement about special herbs in the forest, or some information, or there must have been something. Well, but something that you'd have gone for without Ragnar or the rest of us.
Very odd, precisely. Not that I would do that in a strange village that I'm not familiar with, especially in such an excited way. I don't even tend to get Kernids for normal travel. I don't really understand any of it, but it doesn't seem like anything I would do.
Maybe you're going out somewhere where you'd need to carry things back, and you wanted the beast to load up.
Perhaps helping Maela get back if I was going to meet her, but even so, it still doesn't make a lot of sense. It wasn't that far.
I mean, it's good for us to know that it wasn't Maela or anyone else who rented this beast out, at least. But why you took it to... Who left, you know... Do you remember riding it to anywhere?
Not really. I don't remember where I was going, really. I just remember arriving there being... Well, I was on my way to meet Maela. Got off the beast and was jumped from the bushes.
So you last remember having the Kernid when you were... Is this bandit camp anyway in the direction of the monastery?
Or anywhere else that we've been?
Or the lake,
so,
maybe,
yeah, so you sort of go out of the village towards the lake and then take sort of a left along the shore, and that wooded area opens out that way.
Cool. So what I'm trying to say is someone must have taken the beast from the lakeshore to monastery.
I think it went there of its own accord, didn't it? Or it kind of was implied that it travelled there. It just wandered off. Or, yeah.
From the times described to you, you imagine that based on the window of time that you have for when whatever happened with you happened, it almost moves that window sort of nearer the start of that window, if the Cairnid was there, and the Cairnid must have got to the monastery relatively quickly. Also,
okay, so conspicuously
as if it sort
quickly.
of bolted off. Yeah.
Maybe if it's Furman's not here, then I'll say maybe Furman.
Furman jumps out the bushes.
Could be. Do you want us to make any kind of travel roll to get to this place?
I'm quite happy that it's a relatively bright night, and I think you're all quite, you're all used to traveling, and I think,
Translation: it would derail the story if we all failed and never got there.
I will. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I might suggest we just, as we get closer, kind of slow down a bit and try and go a bit more quietly, and yeah.
I'll be listening out and sort of maybe, I don't know, leading the way and sort of listening for movement, sounds, watching out for things, seeing if I can see anything.
Yeah, so once you arrive at the area where you think the entrance should be, can you each make me either perception rolls or some kind of natural environment or sort of survivally tracking kind of roll? Whichever of those is your better.
Rolled a total of 9.
I rolled a 15.
12 for me.
So that was with natural environment and survival.
Same.
19. Ooh.
Wow.
Scum.
You've been here before.
Might well be.
So you enter, it's not a clearing, but sometimes when you're in a wood, there's a sort of, I don't know, 10 foot by 10 foot gap between any other trees. And there's bits of undergrowth there, but no other trees in there. And as soon as you step into it, Theon goes, "Look." And then Ragnar and Sophia kind of instantly lock onto it, and Fulgur kind of leans around and spots it a second after everybody else.
So unlikely.
Bounces off a tree.
So it's not massively well hidden, this bit, but sort of hidden under a few branches and some moss. But you can see that it's not a natural arrangement on the ground. Are you going to try and open it?
Yes.
Should we do it stealthily? Is anyone good at stealthily doing things?
Before that, does it look like it's been recently disturbed?
Ooh, you did roll really well. Yes, it does look like it's been relatively recently disturbed. Yeah.
Okay. I think I will say careful, someone's been through here recently before letting someone else disturb it again.
I'm going to draw my bow.
Yeah, I might sort of quietly whisper or indicate anyone who's got the bows, which I think is I think both
everyone but you.
Everyone but me. Maybe position themselves appropriately, and I will try to, as quietly as I can, shift things around and find a way to open that up.
Yeah. So there is sort of almost a little sort of half moon bit kind of cut out for you to get a hand under to lift the trapdoor up. You lift, it doesn't creak, and a small amount of light you can see flickering inside, and there are sort of kind of mud steps going downwards into the ground. And you don't see anybody at this point.
With the thing you open, can we hear anything at all? I'll kind of put my hand up and just try listening first.
You cannot hear anything.
Okay. then I guess a nod.
None of us have lights up, do we? Do any of us have torches up? Or have we been going by moonlight?
We would do now, I suppose, because we did say we're walking the forest with them, so that's a good point.
I was going to say, if there are any torches still alight, I will indicate that they should be
Sounds good.
extinguished.
Shutter my lantern or whatever it is.
I'm gonna slowly creep down the stairs.
I will follow you, he says, wondering if stealth is a skill in this game. Oh God, it is. Perhaps I won't.
Yeah, can everybody just make me a stealth roll?
Yeah, already done it.
Okay,
13.
that's a good number.
12.
10.
Well, what is stealth under empathy? Oh, 5. Okay. So I have no points in stealth. I still managed to get 14.
Do you have any injuries, Sam?
It's not giving me minuses now.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. 14. Blumeneck.
Okay. You drop down into a small room in which there are a few things. There is a straw mattress. And there are a few sort of candelabras and things around. And you also spot a sort of wooden casket kind of thing. And there is a doorway sort of leading into another room. Or, leading into a hallway, sorry.
It's not like a coffin-shaped casket, is it? Or is it a small casket?
No, much smaller.
Okay, cool. Right, good.
Yeah.
Well, just got to clear that one up.
Does it appear to have some sort of locking mechanism on it? Is it like a chest, like a box that can, like, with a lid that can be opened, or does it look like it's got like a lock or something on it?
At first glance, you reckon you could probably just open it. You think it might just be storing things. Obviously, whoever is down here or has been using this wouldn't necessarily expect anybody to come in anyway. So it may be that they have left things in here not as secure as they might otherwise be.
I'm hella curious. I'm gonna kick it open and have a peek.
Okay. There are 2 books in here.
Read them aloud.
I will pocket those books.
The first of which has the name written on the front, Memory of the World.
Cool.
And the other is doesn't have anything written on the outside.
Oh, I'm gonna open that up.
Theon is looking very closely at the books as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna that one without the name. I want to see what that looks like on the inside.
Okay. After a second, you realize how much are you reading this?
Yes.
Initial skim to see if there's anything vaguely like I guess like initially like just a quick look to see if it's something that I want to like look into more. Like if it looks just yeah.
You open it and the 2 pages are handwritten and have a date at the top of each.
Oh yeah, I want to read that.
Okay. You figure out that this is Alban's diary. And after flicking through, you find...
Skip to the end.
An ambush described for Theon.
Classic.
Basically, as Theon has described it, with Myella being used as a law in some way. It doesn't say in what way, but she is sort of the,
Bates law.
Yeah. And you also, but as well as this, in the planning, it is also that he is basically being ambushed to be used as a sacrifice in order to contact or bring forth an entity that he has been trying to contact. And there are also quite vivid descriptions of horrific nightmares that he's been having.
Sure.
And it becomes quite clear that he's probably quite mad currently.
Nice.
But there's also something about the way that it's all written that is
Chilling.
There's something more sinister about it than it even seems on the surface, and you can't quite figure out
More
what
sinister
it
than human
is.
sacrifice.
But I would like you to make a mental resistance roll, please.
I am 100% reading this over Sophia's shoulder, so I'll have to make that too.
Yeah.
All right, this is the first time we've done one of these, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's just your normal D10 roll plus your mental resistance.
So this
stat.
is conviction plus mental conviction plus 5. Oh, that's not good for me.
All goes all right for them.
I rolled a 1.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Roll again.
Whose
Yes!
side are you on, Justin?
I got a 10.
Is it another one? Oh, okay.
I'm on the viewer's side.
But that makes my total. Yeah, well, my conviction is 1, but my character sheet says conviction plus 5. I'm not sure why it says plus 5.
Plus 5, I think, is a standard amount you get on top.
Yeah.
For your
Yeah.
mental
So
resistance.
total of 7 or something.
So 6 plus 1, then 7.
My total is 18. I rolled a 10.
Yeah. 7
Okay,
seems like the worst you could possibly roll.
Sophia is going to take 2 trauma points. If you could just make a note of that, Inga, and we'll deal with that later.
That's rough.
Theon is presumably utterly fine, Jonny? Doesn't notice a thing?
Yeah,
Or
I
do
mean,
notice-
it
do I
makes
notice
you uncomfortable, certainly, but it doesn't have a lasting mental impact on you.
I think since I'm so desperate to get answers, then while Sophia is having this mild traumatic breakdown, I am like almost yelling over Sophia's shoulder quietly.
Yeah.
So being subtle. Whisper yell. Going, where's the is there anything about how I lost my memory? That must be
Forget that. We need to take this back right now.
I mean, I'm obviously going to pull my sword out.
we didn't see anything about the memory thing in this time, did we? While we were skimming through, Jonny, like how my memory might have been screwed with.
No, although you did have a sort of head wound, so that still is possible that it's been caused by that. But no, there's nothing. There's nothing in there to say I gave him this to make sure that he didn't remember.
Okay, I'd also be like, how did he lure me? What was the plan? What was the plan with Mayella?
It doesn't
I
matter.
We'll figure that later. Let's
Can
get this back to Harold now.
I kind of want to try and grab the book and have a look because I need answers.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
I'm holding on to it firmly. Like
I
it's
bet
already
Sophia in
going
that fight.
into my.
Okay, I'm not
Just
fighting you for the book,
Look,
but I look very unhappy about it.
I know we should leave, but we also have an obligation to bring this criminal to justice.
Which we can do after we've proved Theon's innocence, but they need to know this now.
If he sees that the book is gone, he may escape and never have to face up for his crimes. I think we have an obligation to go into that room, beat the crap out of him, and drag him back to town. And the fact that Phil would enjoy that is neither here nor there.
Fulger's right. We should find Alvin first.
If we bring back another dead body, they'll have no way of proving we haven't just faked all
The
of
book.
this.
The book's in his writing. Yeah, have information that we couldn't possibly have known about his life. Come on.
Capturing him is better than
I brandished my sword a bit.
Ragnar?
It's the right thing to do, which is
There is that. So I'll have been looking around.
he tried to kill Theon.
Is there any sign of a letter? Is there the letter that was delivered? to Alban? Can I see that in here?
No.
At least let us stake out the entrance. If he comes out, we can fill him through arrows or something like that, you know.
Can I listen by this other door? So there's just one other door into.
Yeah, it's a hallway. From what you can see that it goes into a hallway, and if you move closer and kind of look down it, you can see that it opens out into another room at the end. If you want to listen there, you can certainly give me a roll.
Right. Yeah. Is there light coming down the corridor? Is there? Well, I'll roll.
It looks as lit as here.
Right. I rolled 12 for perception.
Yes, you can hear a voice in the other room.
Can I tell what it's saying?
It could be
no, and you're not sure whether that is because you can't hear it very well from here, or because you don't understand the words that are being said.
It could be Myella in there, being offered up as this sacrifice if we don't do something. Come on.
While passing, I'm going to pick up that other book, by the way, Jonny. I don't read it immediately.
Oh, I thought I picked up both.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just remember you saying you snatched that book first, so yeah, it's all good.
Oh no. I just emptied the chest straight away.
You have both books. That's
bad, Theon. No books for you.
What a book!
Oh,
no forbidden knowledge for you, Theon.
All right, we can split them. If you want to take the other one, you can do.
But yeah,
fine. You pick them both up. It's fine.
Fulgur can be convinced, but otherwise is insistent that we should go into that room and
yeah, and I think.
I mean, it is.
Yes, same at Mayella. I think it's.
Yeah.
Do you think he would sacrifice her instead?
Yes. He's crazy.
What are we waiting for then?
Who's leading?
Me.
Okay, go on.
Who's stealthiest?
Yeah, no, it's who is the person who runs at the enemy, sword drawn? Fulgur.
Fair enough, Fulgur.
Where were you when the bear was attacking us?
What about the lizards? Remember the lizard fight where I died?
We could discuss this later, for God's sake.
So you're going down the hallway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I guess.
Okay. So. Fulgur was right.
I always, you never gets old hearing that.
As you get to the end of this hallway, you see Alban chattering some, as far as you're concerned, nonsensical words. He is holding a knife in one hand and a sort of yellowy orange rock in the other hand. And you see that Myella is tied down. The rock that is in his hand is kind of pulsing with a hypnotic light. There are... Actually, before that, Theon, you have another flashback to being in a large amount of sharp pain, and the ring that is on Myella's hand as you look at her coming flying towards your face, and you realize just how in league with the other two she was in all of this. You then notice that there are two dogs coming running at you. As Alban is about to bring the knife down onto Myella.
Cool.
Do you want to roll for initiative?
Or is it just speed, isn't it?
Yeah, so you announce your combat
fighting attitudes.
fancy thing. Yeah, attitude.
Yeah.
I can never remember the word. Yeah. And then you add it's just your speed from that.
Should you make a roll, or is it just your base speed?
It's
I think it's just your base speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think now it's
I'm gonna go
quick.
I'm gonna go offensive.
Yeah.
Offensive. Go on.
Yeah.
My speed is 8.
My speed is also 8.
Nice.
I got quicker.
Well, it's 5. Oh no, wait, is it plus? Sorry, I remember the speed. Is it +2 to speed?
It should just be whatever speed stat you've selected in that. It's what's in the space, I think.
If you're on
the offensive, the faster combat style.
They're all the same speed other than quick.
Yeah, you add your potential onto if your potential is 2.
That's right. Yeah, so my potential is where is it? 3. So yeah, 8 speed for me as well.
Nice. Mine is 9.
Okay, Ragnall is top of the order.
Okay, so there are 2 dogs running at us, and there's Alban just about to bring the knife down. Is that?
Yep.
Okay. Can I try shooting his hand with the knife in? Is that something I can?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Are you sure it's not a no, Jonny?
It's a yes. I've decided.
I mean, the dice will have the final say, probably. But right. Shall I roll?
Please.
Yes, please.
I rolled a 7. That adds on to my offensive score of attack score of 13, so that's 20.
I was going to say you'd have to have a good roll in order to actually hit the hand, but you've done a good roll. So
I mean, I just shot you in the face.
Yeah. But...
So and then the damage is, what's your weapon damage for the bow?
The bow is 2. Weapon damage 2.
Plus your attack roll, which was 7. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're doing 9. Okay. Yes. It hits him in the hand, and the knife clatters to the floor. And he turns to look at you all, and his eyes are glowing white.
Oh, great.
Oh, yeah.
Have I ever seen anything like this before, Jonny? Now I've seen some things.
No.
Never, ever. Okay. That's cool.
No. Sophia, Fulgur, and Theon, you all have the same speed.
Well, I mean, Fulgur really wants to take his short staff and crush the face of this heretic. That's like something he really wants to do very quickly. But I don't know whether you guys think you'd go first. If you have something you'd really want to do, the more that Fulgur wants to crush.
Given that Ragnall's already taken the shot at the moment that Theon is deciding, Theon maybe hesitates. So Fulgur's all good to act first, unless Sophia wants to.
Yeah, that's fine. Also, how close are we? You say the hounds are running towards us. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were at the back of this sort of chamber, and those 2 are kind of in the middle. So you can get to them around the same time as the dogs would get to you.
Cool. Well, with absolutely no heed for his own safety, that's what Fulgur does. He runs towards,
Alban.
And just Alban, and just wails on him as hard as he can.
Yeah.
I roll an 8, and I'm offensive, so I've got that's a plus 10.
So 18.
And 18.
Yeah.
With the staff, does damage 2.
damage to.
I'm
roll
using a bludgeoning
for an
weapon. Yeah, I'm taking him alive, but you know.
If you hit someone hard enough with a bludgeoning weapon, that's not alive.
Yeah, I mean, Fulgur doesn't really mind about that. Yeah, I mean, like, I very much am like, this is my actual chance to like beat the crap out of heretics, and there's very little that Fulgur would like. You know, he's a man of faith.
Yeah. So he falls to the floor. With his face kind of a bloody mess.
Good.
Theon and Sophia.
So it seems to me the dogs are the concern now. Are the dogs about to leap on Fulgur, given that Fulgur jumped forward and
I
hit
would
him?
think so.
That would be my logical assumption.
Whilst just facing with the
At
stick.
least one of them will almost certainly go for Fulgur. The other may continue on.
In the context of the situation, given that the master isn't about to command them at this moment, having been whacked in the face, Theon wants to try and stop them from fighting us, but that might be hard to do.
With some kind of like natural environment or more than mysteries kind of
Basically a natural environment, or yeah, probably natural.
Oh, okay.
Bacon.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me.
Try and be like, it's okay. You know, in the commanding tone that you do to like attack dogs.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it going to be natural environment?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, not great on there, but probably not good enough. 5, 9, 13. Probably not good enough. Kind of in the middle.
Okay. The one that. So one of them does stop off at Fulgur, which I'll deal with when it comes around to that. But the one that comes towards you does kind of stop in front of your group and kind of bark for a moment, very, in an intimidating fashion, but doesn't attack you this round. So it's still, next time it probably is going to, but you've bought yourself a round with almost confusing it with being commanding.
Unless I can do an even better one.
Yes. Sophia.
Does Maella look conscious?
She is unconscious.
Can I want to run over to her and try and untie her. You said she was bound, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like cut free any ropes or whatever and just pull her off whatever it is that she's been tied to.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to ask you to roll for that. That's fine. You can cut ropes. That's no problem. So the dog at Fulgur. Oh, I rolled 20.
Great.
So I rolled a 10. So it's attack roll.
You rolled a crit.
Weapon damage, which is 2. So it's 12 minus your defense minus your protection.
Well, my defense is 12 and my protection is 3.
Oh, no, wait, sorry. It'll be 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, minus your... Yeah, so it'll be 9 damage, I think.
So, yeah, so...
It's everything over the top of the defense stat is what's actual damage, isn't it? So, yeah.
It was a 22 total.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the 22 minus 12 is 10 minus my protection, which is 3.
Mm-hmm.
So 7.
My shield. So 7. Would I have had my shield? Probably would have had my shield. So 6. Let's say, and that takes me to okay.
Well, that's not too bad. You've had worse.
I mean, I think the only one who looks more maniacal than Alban is Fulgur, standing over his bloody body.
I didn't
some
realize.
kind of, I think with 5 conviction, I think, and no, I've got to play. Like, it gives me. I chose a dumb stat, and I've got to replay into it. Otherwise, I've just not. Otherwise, what was the point of choosing 5 in conviction?
Presumably with dog literally hanging off of Fulgur at the same time.
Probably. Nice.
Basically, yeah, it has jumped up at your arm that you were using to sort of smash its master's face in.
This is, I think this is exactly what Fulgur wants. It's the worst.
So, anybody who's not massively distracted by things that are going on, I would say that, well, you may all pick up on it based on sort of Fulgur's proximity as well. Alban's body starts to convulse.
Is that brain damage convulsion or entity breaking forth convulsion?
You hear...
Yeah, that's all. Just real cold.
Over the course of a few seconds, you hear some cracking sounds. You see his neck lengthen. His shoulders broaden. And his arms distend. And he starts to yell in agony. Can you all make a mental resistance roll, please?
I was built for this.
Sounds very Fiondas-y, as you said, yeah.
17.
Surprisingly, I rolled a 10, so I get 16 because I have crap mental resistance.
I got 16.
You didn't get a chance for a crit, Steve.
Oh, I rolled a 10. I don't know whether can you crit on mental resistance?
Yeah.
I rolled a 7, so I don't crit.
Okay. What did you roll? Sorry, Inga.
13. Does my trauma affect roll at all?
No, it doesn't. But you are going to take another 2 trauma points.
Rough.
And Ragnar and Theon actually are going to take 2 trauma points as well.
Whoa.
If you can note those down.
16.
Fulgur is the only one who escaped the. It was a 17 cut off.
Wow.
And this now tall creature stands in front of you, still sort of yelling in agony as it stands, brings itself to its newly lengthened feet. Still glowing white eyes.
Cool.
And preps for another round. So is anybody changing their combat style?
Can I just ask, does this seem like a Fiondas? We know of them, or does it seem completely unrecognizable to anything?
No, so Fiondas typically are thought to be like separate. This is a transformation of a human somehow.
Unfamiliar to all of us.
Yeah.
I think I'll pick defensive.
Yeah, given the utter unfamiliarity, I'm going to go defensive too.
I'm glad it's not a Foundas because yes, Ragnar has a phobia. So
Ragnar's like, oh, it's fine, really.
It's like, yes, I think Ragnar will be kind of cowering backwards a bit, and he's shaken because this is bringing back bad memories.
What's Maella's reaction to all of this?
Oh, she's
she's not conscious still.
Right.
She's still not conscious. So has anybody's speed changed?
Mine will. Yeah. Mine dropped down to 5.
No,
mine's 6.
It is the same.
It is the same for me, but I will be going defensive.
Okay.
I'm legit wondering whether to just try and leg it with this book.
It's not a terrible idea.
Probably don't know.
You've got a few rounds, a few turns to decide whether that's what you want to do. Steve, Ragnar is first.
Well, I think I'll pull myself together. And
need a little help here, Ragnar.
I'll aim a shot and try and damage this monstrosity. I roll a 6, which is added to my attack of 9, so 15.
Okay. 15.
Yes.
Okay. You see this almost bounce off its
Oh, crap.
now toughened skin.
Crap.
It does kind of make a little, there's a small amount of blood, but it doesn't go in. It's like a pinprick almost in its effect. Fulgur.
Good luck.
I like the running away option that Inga suggests.
I like the running away option too.
Well, Fulgur's in the front, so
Yeah, it's not very Fulgur to run away.
still
but
dog hanging off him.
It
Yeah.
is very Fulgur to save a damsel in distress. And
but you have to remain alive for that, generally.
yeah, and which Fulgur's come since the last adventure. Fulgur's come around to this idea of staying alive. Do you think Fulgur? Can I try and make some kind of feats roll to snatch up Myella and try and get out of there? Or is
Sure.
that a feats roll?
Yeah, let's do that. I like that. That's good.
That's the good old sound of GM going, good luck with that.
Roll.
The other thing that happens is that the dogs actually turn and start barking at this
Oh, good.
new creature. They're not going to attack it. It's the sort of somebody's come into my house and I don't know who it is, so I'm going to try and scare them off rather than actual, aggressive forward.
That's still an improvement over trying to kill us. So.
Well, Fionn, can you command them to attack?
Anyway, I roll a 8 overall. Poor roll. Poor roll.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not going to do it, I'm afraid. So
It's like tugging on.
Yes, yeah. You kind of go to hoist her, and kind of you do manage to get hold of her if you want to. I'm not going to force you to just be lumbered with her if you decide partway through that you're not doing it fast enough.
No, I'll go with it.
Okay. Yeah, so you've kind of hoisted her and are now almost face to face with New Alban. Can I still, if I'm what I accept that probably wouldn't be, not able to carry all my things, but can I at least be still holding onto my shield during this? Or yes, yeah, great, cool. Yeah, left shoulder, shield here. Yeah, that's fine. The shield's the one I'll hold on to, not the stick. Yeah, that's fine. Stick on the side. And it is New Alban's turn. And he's going to attack you because you're closest. I think that's very reasonable. I would do the same. I just cracked him in the face.
On that, I did pull Myella away off the.
Oh, did you?
The thing, yeah, that's what I did.
Oh, you moved her? Okay.
I'm tied in to drag her off. So I don't know.
Maybe together, I could have. Yeah.
Or whether anybody else might be closer. I don't know. You might be hiding behind me with her or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
that's reasonable.
Yeah. Okay, the group can tell me who is closest to Alban.
Definitely Fulgur, I think.
Right. Okay. So I've rolled 24, plus his damage of 3, so 27.
So my defense is now 13.
Definitely running away. Running away.
So, and I add on 4 to that, so that's I've got a total of 17, so it's 10 damage, yeah?
Yes.
Cool.
No extra protection from having a human shield? No.
No.
Fulgur is using the shield as a shield for the human.
I'm on critical, obviously.
Great.
So...
That's -3 and everything. Good God.
Let's go. Let's get gone.
Next up is the dogs, who are going to spend their turn not doing anything apart from barking.
I love it.
Theon.
What's the glowing rock doing?
Yeah, I was going to ask about the situation. Is there anything else of interest in the room?
That is on the floor now, sort of where Alban was, having been knocked down by Fulgur.
Still glowing?
It is pulsating, but at a lower level than when Alban was holding it, you think.
Okay. I have no hope of attacking the thing, so I'm not going to bother doing that. I have to roll double crit to damage it. It's not going to happen.
Give it a go, mate.
Is there... that's probably not very likely.
Throw your first punch. You killed someone earlier.
Thanks. So
so harsh.
Was there any other light in the room other than that vaguely glowing rock?
There's sort of candelabras and stuff.
Okay, cool.
It's all candle based.
Mm-hmm. Does the room look very flammable?
I was just about to ask exactly the same thing.
There's a straw mattress in the room back from where you are. I do actually. I should have done this earlier, maybe.
A picture?
But I have a picture.
Spoiling us.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a moment, and I can share.
I really want to die in this one.
You haven't got. You've only got one magic point, haven't you? What are they called?
Oh, That's
survival. Is it survival? Yeah.
Survival points. Yeah.
And you need 2 to avoid death.
Yeah, I did know that going into this.
Yeah.
But I don't really mind. I kind of hope Fulgur dies. You know,
yeah, but
in some ways.
This isn't.
This is a great way for Fulgur to die.
Let's see. We do indeed have a picture.
Oh, that's
there you are.
Okay.
Any,
okay, not particularly flammable looking room. Okay, got it.
I guess we are underground, aren't we? So, yeah.
Basically, what I'm going to do is try and help hurry Fulgur away from the terrifying thing as best I can. Maybe by partly taking the weight of my Ella, or just taking her completely, or just like trying to drag him physically out of the way of it.
Okay, can you make a feats roll for Theon then, please, Sam?
I'm just going to fail that. I can try. Oh no, I did put some points to feats. Okay.
Oh,
feats.
It's gone.
That's on the screen, isn't it?
Great.
Sorry, that was my fault.
That's all right.
There we go.
Yep.
It's back. It's back.
Oh,
it's back.
It's with combativeness though. Oh my god.
Yeah, how do you think I feel?
Okay.
Only one skill uses conviction.
Oh, and I rolled a 1, so I got a total of 4.
Can you roll again in case you
Oh yeah.
fail on that?
Oh dear, oh dear.
Fudging.
Fall over.
Theon.
I rolled a 9.
Okay.
I should know what I'm good at, and it's not doing physical things.
What? Never mind.
I think you probably go to try and get her, and Fulgur almost sort of waves you off.
Don't you have some magic, Theon?
Yeah, that was the next plan, but
That
I
was
figured
the next
getting out
plan.
was more important. I can't kill it with magic, so
You could try.
I have to
Can you-
touch
can
it
you
with it.
heal
I'm not
Fulgur?
touching it.
It's touching me.
Yeah, healing Fulgur was my next plan.
Was that what plan C?
Yeah, plan C.
I'll be dead by the time this plan comes together.
Sophia.
I am trying to decide the orange stone. How close is it to New Alban?
Quite close and behind. It's kind of behind his right foot.
I'm trying to decide whether I think. I'm trying to decide whether I think New Alban will care about the book, or whether it's too late to care about that or not. And I'm trying to decide if there's any kind of role I can do to like, or maybe I just need to flip a coin.
What the diary or the?
Yeah, so you haven't had any events transpire yet to tell you either way.
Yeah.
There's been nothing that you might have expected him to respond to that he hasn't, or vice versa. So
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't really responded in any way apart from smashing Fulgur in the face, which is fair. I did hit him first.
Yeah. Oh boy, Sophia does not know really much about anything. Well, only teeny tiny.
What's her gut telling her?
I'm gonna try and dart behind Alban and pick up the stone
Oh my
and
God.
start and see if I can frantically. I'm just gonna like open the book, not the diary, the other one, onto any random page and see if anything vaguely looks like just total grasping at straws.
Fantastic.
okay, can
Brilliant.
you make me either stealth or a feats roll for getting around Alban, please?
$12 on stealth.
Okay. Yeah, you can get that. You can get the orange rock from behind him. Then what do you want to do?
I am desperately opening up that book, the non-diary one, in a desperate hope that there is something in that will just magically open up onto the right page to do something helpful.
Okay. You open the book and you do not recognize any of the words written in it.
Oh,
awesome.
Illiteracy. The bane of our life.
In that case, I will instantly seeing I don't know anything about it, I guess I'm just gonna shout, "Got your book!" You guys have got my Ella. Like,
oh my God.
Look at me! Look at me!
Okay.
Don't look over there. Look at this.
Alban turns around.
Okay. Nice knowing you guys. Goodbye.
You're not sure whether it's anything to do with the book or not, or whether he's just heard you behind him, but he turns around. So Ragnall.
Right. Okay. So you've now got the rock, and both books know the other book.
Both books.
I have got both books.
You've got both books.
Kind of important too.
Myla can corroborate our story.
Well, we say we're just going to run off now.
I mean,
crap.
Look.
And I can't shoot at the rock to break the rock, because that was like, oh, we could smash the rock. Perhaps that's the thing.
I don't think an arrow would break a rock. Anyway.
Now, not realizing that the book is not going to be useful to me, that's probably the next thing.
And you're holding the rock.
We all know paper beats rock.
Oh God! Well, the only thing I think I can do at this point is go offensive and try and distract new Alban with an arrow to the head.
If everyone distracts Alban, then
oh God! So yes, my speed is still 9. My attack is 13, and I rolled a 7, so that's 20.
Okay.
Please say that damages it.
Yes, that is gonna do it some damage.
Okay, some. My damage on bow is 2.
Okay, that's a bit more damage.
22 older.
Okay. Yes, you obviously shooting at it from behind now, and you hit kind of just at the top of the neck. And it sinks in this time. And it kind of roars. It's about 8 feet tall now. And this is the first time it's actually kind of stood fully upright as it sort of roars in pain. And it's been kind of hunkering over previously. And you get an impression of the full size of it. Sophia, obviously, this is quite terrifying as you're stood sort of staring up at this now 8-foot tall creature.
Regretting all my life choices, yeah.
Yeah, but yes, you've noticeably done it some harm there. Fulgur.
I'm not really in a position to fight ever. And so I've now got my Ella, and so I guess I'll try and
Swear
get
to
my
God,
Ella
if you
out.
leave me here, I'm not going to be happy.
Well, I'm going to shout,
What about
leave,
Sophia?
get out, run. But, like, you know, escape while you can. This thing's a crazy monster, and I'm leaving.
You're going to be able to move regardless, but can you make me a feats roll anyway so I can see if you get some inhuman strength?
God, no, I absolutely don't. Because I'm on -3, so I rolled a 5 overall.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you get sort of halfway down the hallway out of this room on this turn. So, continuing at that pace, on your next turn, you'll be just about to get outside, basically.
Retreat!
Olven. Sorry, Inga. That is 23.
Pretty sure that hits, yep. What is my defense? My defense is 13 with a +1 from my feet. It's 14.
Have you got any
defensive things?
protection?
That's +3. Hang on, so that's 47, 17 defense total. Plus
Okay, so 6 damage.
+2 protection.
Oh, great. So 4 damage.
Wow. Tankier than Fulgur in a way. Nice.
Yeah, that's creativity for you.
Yeah, true.
Theon.
So Fulgur presumably is kind of dashing past us now because we're in the hallway.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm bravely running away.
It's no point trying to feed.
Brave Sir Fulgur.
Brave Sir Fulgur.
Yeah. Tell this tale to Harold.
Oh, well. I'm going to dash in and Sigil Ran try to harm it.
Okay.
I've got a little bit so I can use my lowest level because I regenerated a bit since I healed myself at the beginning. So, which is just basically 1d10 halved damage that it takes.
Okay, great.
Roll high. That's 1 damage. I did something by touching this thing.
Cool.
That's all my magic done.
Theon's helping.
Just
Yeah,
you would have done more.
you do see him kind of writhe a little bit in sort of a pained movement because it's obviously it's like internal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
So
like
kind
being
of
boiled alive, but only a very little bit in this case, apparently.
Yeah. Sophia is next.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and smash this stone.
Okay.
Yeah, I if I'm near enough a wall, I'll maybe just try smashing against the wall. If not, I'll throw it to the
Throw it
floor
on
and
the
smash
ground.
it with the metal end of my staff on the ground. Crush it
This could
down.
go one of several ways.
It gets stronger. The stone was holding it back.
Can we glue the stone together again? Can we?
Oh, what a comedy of errors.
Yes, it smashes.
Cool.
And you notice no change in Olven.
Ah,
Damn.
Cool.
worth a try. Worth a
Cool,
try.
cool.
Can I?
You can have some movement as well.
I was gonna
if you
say, can
want
I
to.
try ducking and heading out the door if I possibly can?
Yeah,
You can-
a feats roll, please, for the moving past the lumbering beast.
You can whimper as a free action.
Fulgur's taking out all of the whimpering for the round.
6.
Okay.
What's your? Yeah.
I'm not with feats. So.
Have you taken any damage yet?
Oh, yes, I have, but I'm still in good.
Yeah,
That's
you know.
good. How the Fulgur
Okay.
is such a glass cannon, and by glass
You-
cannon, piece of glass.
You are going to take a swipe from Alban as you pass. You get past, but you're getting hit. And it's 27.
Oh, Jesus.
That'll do it.
So I was on, what was it? I had 17 plus 2
I think
protection.
it's 19 you ended up as, wasn't
19
it?
on, yeah, 19
Eight.
total. 8, yeah, 8. Ooh, ouch.
No nice getting hit.
Ragnall.
Bad.
I'm still amazed at how you get those protection scores. I'm going to try firing another arrow. I think it's all I can do at this point. So yes, still in offensive, crazy offensive mode. Oh, that wasn't great. So that was, yes, attack of 13 plus 4 dice roll. So 17.
That does hit.
Okay, bow damage is 2. So I guess total roll is 19 there.
Yep. Yes, you see that do again, it goes in an arm, and it kind of moves its arm a bit, and yeah.
We're getting there, but we're getting there, guys.
We
Fulgur.
just need at least 12 of us to die. and then
I'll roll my
it's
feats
like
roll. This one
Yeah.
was better. I rolled 10 total.
Okay, you managed to open the hatch, and you're on your way outside
Cool. I think
with
I'm
Maella.
I think I would like dump Maella fairly nearby,
Okay.
and then kind of like turn to either head back in or defend the opening when people pour through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Fionn and close the door and lock it as he comes through. It's like, I'm not going to do that, obviously.
Okay. Alban. Sophia's probably closest still, isn't she?
Unless was distracted by me, but that hopefully not. I mean, I didn't do very much, so probably.
I mean, Fionn's pretty close.
I touched it.
If you're
I
in
touched
touching distance and you didn't run away, then you'd be closer.
Mm-hmm.
I was behind it and I touched it, whereas Sophia
that's
was
pretty
kind of in
close.
its eye line. So it's which way you want to go, John?
Well, kind of Sophia's
Well,
got
I
past
started-
it.
Yeah, I
You're
started
through.
running away.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's probably Fionn, actually.
Oh, this is I can't take
Ru-
any
ru-
hits.
Ruins your streak of no damage taken.
I have I mean, at least I'm in defensive.
That's you're gonna need it, mate.
So, yeah.
It might
I mean,
still kill me.
unless the swipe that I took before stopped me from moving that much further away, if that like stopped me in my tracks, potentially. But
Now we
yeah,
decided.
you're cool, Johnny.
Fionn gets hit. Be fine.
I'm sure it might be fine.
I mean, you got loads of health, right, Fionn? Oh wait,
No.
no, you were nearly stabbed to death recently. Oh crap.
Also, I'm literally sickly as like a sickly person, so I have less health on that too.
Cool. It'll be fine.
All gonna be fine.
23.
Okay, that might not kill me.
That might not
I
kill
think
me.
I have 40 protection. 50.
That's good.
Oh,
Take
50. I've
9.
got 1 armor. That's all right.
All right, take 8.
Hey, okay, that's not too bad.
Were you
That's
in
not even
defense?
the first 2 rows.
I'm full of bad, not critical yet.
Full
Did you
of
count your
bad.
extra from defensive?
Yes, I did.
Cool.
And next up is Fionn.
Now my priority is running away.
Very much so.
Sure, you can run away if you would like to make a feats roll to see if you can
I
get
will indeed.
further faster.
I will indeed fail a feats roll.
You might roll 2 10s, you never know.
-2. So I have a total of 1 before my roll. Guys, 7 probably.
Okay. Yeah, you get sort of just into the next room, the room where you came in through. Sophia?
Gonna keep running and try and get through to the next room. I don't know how far I'll get, but my intention is to knock over the candelabra onto the straw mattress on my way out. Even if Beyond is behind me, I'm just going to hope he gets through in time.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, make me a feats roll, please.
Slightly worried about
Ragnar, you haven't run away yet, have you? You're still like in the hallway. Is that true?
I guess, yes, I've just been firing arrows, so...
We will run past you. Okay.
Yeah.
9 total.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to get to the sort of the straw mattress and knock the thing over. So next round you'd be able to get outside. Ragnar.
Okay, so situation update. So Fulger's outside.
I think it's you and Alban.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm probably not far
Basically.
behind you. I kind of just, I'm a bit behind you.
You can
Sophie's
try
in
and-
the other room, and then
There's a
Fulger's
door
at the
that you could close on it. I mean, I don't know if you feel like you could.
Is there?
There was
Was
a
that
door
door we
between
opened?
the rooms. I don't know how long it would hold it for, but potentially 0 time.
Totally stumped by doors. Well, either that, I guess, or if there's a torch or something something flaming I can lob at it as I'm running, I would do that. Otherwise, I'd just run. I think if everybody else is
yeah, there's that sort of large flaming trident that you could pick up and launch.
Well, if I can lob that at it,
Is that like a candelabra or something?
Yeah.
Confused. Right. Cool.
yeah, yeah. If I can do that and head towards the exit, I would want to do that. If it's like just attack, then I'm going to leg it. But
You
if
can
it's-
like backing
if
off.
I reckon you can get out of this room into the hallway while doing that.
Okay, I'll do
only
that.
Only if you've got a witty thing to say as you throw it.
So give me a ranged attack roll.
A ranged attack roll. Okay. I am still in offensive. Okay, so it's the same as bow, effectively.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be similar, yeah.
So I rolled an 8. My attack score on offensive is 13. So that's 21.
I'll do it.
Yeah, and I will choose an arbitrary number to be damaged for that. Okay. Yes, that has done it more damage than any of your arrows have.
Okay.
As you nail a pretty much perfect throw into its chest, and with a decent amount of force, and it sort of yells in pain and anger, and as you kind of close the door as you go into the hallway, you see its glowing white eyes again, and they're almost sort of seared into your eyes as the door closes, and there's just darkness in front of you. If you're all just running out, I'm happy to take it out of initiative now. Is anybody doing anything different than
Don't
leaving?
think there's any question.
I think like apart from like trying to barricade the entrance when people get out, like roll.
Just buy yourself a bit more time.
Yeah, I mean if there's anything we can roll on top of it nearby. I've had probably a turn. I'll probably have like a turn's worth of time to look around to see if there's anything to do.
Well, I was going to try like maybe giving her a slap, see if she might wake up or something, like splashing water.
There's a business there, like just slapping my Ella like this, and I'm there like just
through the forest.
I'm just piling leaves on top of the door. I'm like, please, anything.
I'm just thinking, rather than dragging a lifeless, unconscious body,
Yeah, that's fair.
That might help.
Yeah, you can find some sort of reasonable sized rocks and bigger fallen branches and stuff, and sort of drag them near, and everybody
Hit
can
my
put
Ella
them
with
on
them.
top. And are you basically running back to the village?
Does my
Back
Ella
to the village.
up Does she regain any kind of consciousness if we try and wake her?
Are you heading back to the village? She doesn't wake up straight away. If you're heading back, she'll probably wake up about 15 minutes into the journey.
There's definitely no stop to the running.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like if this thing wasn't like weak to fire or scared by it, then
the only thing I'd be curious about is like listening to see if it's following us. But I'm not really stopping running to listen. I'm just curious if it is.
The odd glance backwards to see whether
that sort of panic over my shoulder.
Okay. You break the tree line along the lake shore.
And they're all like that.
About a quarter of a mile from sort of the village proper. And just as you do that, you hear a howl from back in the woods, like a bestial roar.
Close, a distance away.
You think maybe it's just got outside.
Okay, good.
I think.
And you go running back into the village with Maella, presumably.
Screaming bloody murder. Well, not murder, but you know,
not murder. The opposite.
Sound the alert. Like there's something coming.
A monster in the forest.
Everyone to arms. You know,
fell deeds. Evil
we're
magic.
Covered in blood. I imagine it's not hard to convince anyone.
You are shouting this as you come in, and you notice that a large number of the villagers are outside, and a group of Hilderin knights go running past you.
Always knew they were the good guys.
And you spot Harold with members of the village council.
Right.
And he kind of gives you a solemn nod.
Like, Fog's gut's literally hanging out.
Sophia will go running straight to Harold and the council with the books.
Maella's family come over to her and obviously greet her, embrace her.
Be careful to greet her. She was involved in this treacherous plot.
I mean, you don't know that. You don't know that because she was just unconscious. Only I know that, to be fair. That was the realization I had.
Did no one provide the exposition?
I think so. I think Sophia knows as well from the book.
Okay.
In the book, did the book just talk about?
Oh, it said she was being used as bait.
Yeah, but I don't think it said. I don't think it said anything. I think it's just because you got the memory of her.
She attacked me.
Maybe I don't say that then.
And Maog is with the village council group, looking more sheepish than upset.
Lol.
You would say as a descriptor.
Wow.
Not
much love lost there.
Well, if his son's a crazy cultist, you know, I like Maog more by the minute.
Well, I mean, I'll go running up and say, she's transformed in something awful. We found that this book. It was Alban. It was Alban. He's done something, and I'll maybe like turn to Maog. I'll hand the book to Harold actually, but I might turn to Maog and say, I don't know. It's not like just something along the lines of like I know you hate this occult stuff too, but you should have stopped him. You should have stopped him.
Is this book yours? Is this, what was it called? The Memory of the World?
Presumably the diary is the one you're handing.
Yeah, but handing the diary to Harold.
Did you explain what was in the diary to us on the run back at all? Or is it still...
I think we're busy running.
Well, I mean, you know. You can't run for an hour, especially with our guts hanging out.
I did because I whispered to say we need to take this because this proves Beyond's innocent.
Yeah, you know what's vaguely in there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, enough to know we needed.
Anselir, who was sort of the head of the village council, says, I would like to take a look at this. If it proves Fion's innocence, as you say?
I mean, I think I've already had it to Harold, so I'll just look at Harold.
Yeah, he takes it
I
off
was
him.
like, don't know where it went. Kill the man. Like it.
Yeah, he kind of looks through it and keeps sort of glancing at Mayog as he does as well. And says, I am happy to make a decision on this matter. Fion, I feel you have been put into a corner in all of this. I'm not sure anybody would have acted any differently than you. I'm not sure anybody should have acted any differently than you. And
the only more reasonable response could perhaps have been to flee.
It seems you have acted with integrity since these events took place. And I don't think that we have any reason to hold you to account now.
Jonny, how much confidence should we feel in the Hildren Knights going off into the forest, or would that be like reassuring they've got this, or are we still afraid that this thing is coming after us?
I mean, they've got better weapons than us, so
there were a group of 12 pretty well armored people, and by the time you'd done, you'd done a reasonable amount of harm to him, especially with Ragnall's javelin candelabra effort. So you think it'll be okay. Not for Alban, obviously.
And also, who do care? The knights. We're not.
God.
They're not. We're not a member of the Hildren Knight team.
I suppose in light of what they've said, Fion just goes. I just go. It's okay. I'm used to being mistrusted. Doesn't seem like this was. Well, I suppose it was an unfortunate circumstance, and I'll look very angrily at Mayog.
Cool.
I guess if things are sort of calming down a little bit, like what's the kind of like? Oh, actually, no. In the diary entries, did that only really implicate Alban, or did it clearly indicate that? I mean, I guess based on what Fiona had said about the ambush, does it seem like pretty obvious that Angus was like equally culpable, or does it seem like it was very much driven by Alban, or it's just not enough really to tell?
Certainly, from the way it's all written, you think Alban was in charge. That doesn't mean that Angus wasn't making his own decisions.
Yeah.
Or Mayella, from what I know.
Yeah.
Is Fion's memories coming back much more wholly now, or are there still lots? Is there still lots that's kind of blank?
Yeah, they're kind of what's been provided is sort of how it is at the moment. He still doesn't have a full recollection, but it's certainly much more full than it was to begin with.
Yeah. I suppose I will. What is Mio doing? Just standing there looking awkward.
Yeah, he's just looking uncomfortable. It seems like the kind of thing where the whole village council has to be there, but he would much rather not be.
I think I'm just going to march right up to Mayog and say, I don't care what responsibility you face for this, but what I do want to know is what that thing was. And it's clear that you're more likely than anyone else here to know. What sort of creature, being, cult things has your family been involved in?
I'll
Tell
draw
me plain. We've seen it.
Yeah, sorry. As he says this, I'll draw out the book and just as a kind of support to that and say, if we can get something to do with this.
That was my grandfather's book. I thought they'd all gone, but Alban must have found it.
I suggest you do a more thorough search.
Yes, I don't know anything about these things. You'd have to speak to somebody else if you wanted more information on it. maybe Zaig.
Yeah, I don't think he's telling the truth, but I'd like to do a roll for it anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Is that just perception or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm dying here.
I mean, I'm pretty badly injured as well, to be fair.
Can somebody?
Oh, there's yes, the Morthen Logue, maybe.
Please.
Yeah. She starts tending.
I got 14 checking if he seems like he's not saying everything he knows.
No, you think that he is.
Oh, what a bastard. Yes.
What a bastard, not knowing anything. The bastard.
He genuinely severely dislikes this stuff and has tried to get rid of it all. He really doesn't know anything about it apart from the effect that it's had on his family.
Okay. Well, I'll give him a look of utter disgust and say, your ignorance has killed people. And then probably sit down.
If there are any torches or anything nearby that anyone is carrying, I might grab one and try and set the book alight.
Oh, I thought would be totally down with that.
Yeah, just straight up burning the books.
Cool.
Yeah, it sets on fire. It burns.
Good riddance.
Knowledge is a dangerous thing.
The crowd starts to disperse. Including the village council. They kind of start to head off as well.
You're welcome.
Do we owe Zaig an explanation? Is it Zaig? Yes.
She's been there as these conversations have taken place because she's on the council. Yeah, so she's been there.
I will bother the Demorthen here after Fulgur is seen to stop me dying too.
Yeah.
My Ella, when she kind of started to awaken a bit, has she said anything during this time? Has she?
Like an apology, perhaps?
Yeah, any guilt, apology, ignorance? Has she pled ignorance or what?
Thanks.
She's been very quiet. She did say thank you for rescuing her.
Oh, that's reasonable. That's all we need.
Okay, before she leaves then, given the situation and given what I know, I will probably say, because after having talked to Mayog, she's the next most likely person to know. So I suppose I will turn to Mayla and say, do you know what it was?
No, he was trying to contact something. I don't know, maybe he did, and maybe it granted him something.
But you were interested. You must have known more than that.
I only knew what he told me. I couldn't read the book. It's in a different language that he seems to have learned over years. I'm sorry, I really don't know any more than what he's told me. I didn't know this would happen.
I'm just going to walk away from it then.
But you're okay with someone being sacrificed for whatever it was to happen?
I didn't think he was really going to do that.
Choose your friends more wisely in the future.
Wow.
She kind of scarpers off.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm going to go get some healing.
Yeah. All of her friends are dead, Sophia. Like, in many ways, this is a bit of a, probably learn a lesson from this
learning moment. Yeah.
I don't mind kicking her while she's down at that point now.
Wow. Yeah, sure.
And yeah, you're basically left in the village square with Logue, who suggests that you head back into the inn for the evening, and she can take a better look at you all there.
I thought
I'm fine.
I was going to say, I think you should leave. just like, here are your bags. Jog on.
Haven't you done enough? Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get paid for this, Vion.
Oh, fucking! Ragnar's gonna.
Vion actually gives you a smile.
I wasn't joking.
I'm gonna grab 5.
That's why I was smiling.
I'm gonna grab 5 Ember Dal from my bloody coin purse and just throw them at you. I think.
Right, I'm
Guts
writing.
hanging out. Pick them up anyway.
That is 120%. No, it's a 500%, 600% increase in my number dollars.
Now come in here and buy a round.
Maths wasn't Vulgar's strong suit.
You get some sleep. In the morning, you hear that the Hilderin Knights were successful in once again clearing out the bandit encampment. It's not common knowledge around the village that it was anything to do with Alban, and in fact, many people are of the opinion that potentially Fiondas has been responsible for these things. Mm-hmm. It's up to you whether any of you enlighten anybody that you hear telling these stories. And you are not paid, but you do receive that night's stay for free in the inn.
Probably right. I mean, it's the least I can do to avoid a bad trip advisor.
And that is the conclusion of this chapter.
Cool. That's really fun.
So before next time, we'll do some more character advancement. Real quick, if anybody has any questions or comments, put them in the chat. We've overrun quite substantially. I apologize, but it was finishing stuff off. So yeah, if you do have any questions or comments, put them in. I think we'll probably start the next one next week because character advancement is basically very, very simple. It's not like a D&D leveling up thing of a million choices. Wednesday, Simbaroom. Thursday, World of Darkness. Sunday, the 6th of March, Tales from the Loop. Yeah. We could do so. I'll do a little bit of tying up before the start of the next one as well.
Cool. Okay.
For any questions, you can send me, and I can do that as a little recap before the start of the next one. And if any viewers have any questions, you can come on the Discord and put them in there, and I'll include that in the little wrap up at the start of next session as well. Very spooky monster from Lord Malice. Sorry. He is quite spooky. Oh, a question from 42 there. Is Myella getting off by playing victim? Who can say? Who can say? Perhaps she was the mastermind.
She'll have my eternal judgment.
Are you guys telling us what you understand really happened? Like, are you telling when it's Vion confessing that he thought he was?
That's a good question, actually.
Because like,
given what's been seen, I think I will confess to you that I did kill. After we leave.
Would you tell us when you realised that information as well?
I would tell. Well, I already realised it. I didn't tell Fulgur the truth of the.
I know, but would you tell him? Would you tell Fulgur, I've known for a while that I was the murderer? Like.
I think I would just tell.
Not you.
I think I would just tell you the truth of it, and if you asked me, I wouldn't hide it from you that I didn't tell you at the time. Yeah.
Cool.
We should thank Lord Malice for resubscribing.
Yes, thanks, Malice. I saw that pop up in the chat.
Thank you very much,
for you, Jonny.
And Julian Stark for following.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Were we supposed to beat that monster?
We did beat it. We survived.
Is it one of those like the book says they can try and fight it and they won't win, or is it like oh no, they really should beat it and we just did terrible?
I don't want to know the answer to that question.
We're also not a very combat heavy group though.
Yeah, we're not.
Like my bonus is to combat after increasing them with the character leveling up last time. I have a +5 max to combat. So like the best I can roll is like a 15, which wouldn't have done anything to this guy.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah, the best I can roll. Oh, I'm higher than you. My best roll I can roll is a 16. No, wait. Yeah, 16.
Yeah.
roll
I mean,
20.
maybe I guess it would have been a little bit higher with if you'd gone for the offensive stuff actually, so that would have been a tad bit. But yeah, not great.
He was tough.
Beast.
Yeah, it was just a tough monster.
Pretty tough.
I mean, I think that is the thing of killing a random peasant is difficult.
Yeah.
And killing any
Yeah.
kind of monster is going to require you all to basically concentrate blows upon the thing until it's
Yeah.
completely pummeled into a
And we didn't even start by doing that, to be fair. So.
Mm.
Oh, I spent the entire rest of the session trying to think of a goddamn candelabra joke, and I haven't done it yet. So if you can think of one, right in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
High pressure.
Right,
job.
cool.
It's tough.
Catch you all next week for the next adventure, which is called Lochvarn. So we'll see
Excellent.
you then.
No.
Theon wakes up next to a loch.
Bye.
Bye.